This video will show you how to track foods on the BodySite website or on the native application for iPhone or Android. Either way, you can track food from your program page and track meals that have been provided to you by your provider by simply adding that meal to the meal in question for the time of day that you ate it. And you can also go to your track food page to adjust those foods that you've just tracked or add individual foods to track things from restaurants and grocery items. On your track food page, you can see everything you've tracked so far, total calories, macronutrient breakdowns, net carbs, etc. And from there, you can add foods to any meal individually. And when you click on that, you can click on favorites, saved meals, or even recently tracked foods, and even search from a database of 650,000 foods that are commonly used from grocery stores to generics, etc. Let's make a lunch with some chicken. Here you can see you've got all your nutritional breakdowns, and you can choose what serving size you ate or the number of servings. So if you do that, you'll see the breakdown of calories and macros for that serving size, and of course we'll multiply that when you track it with the number of servings that you choose. Let's say you wanted to add something from Chipotle to your lunch, like some guacamole. You can search from restaurants and brands, about 130,000 foods in that category. And here's an example. We can choose Chipotle guacamole. And again, you can see the serving breakdown, and you can add that to your lunch. And let's finish our meal with some rice. We could choose rice from any restaurant or brand, or we can just choose rice generically by searching that in the database. And I'm going to choose 1 cup of white rice and add that to the meal. And now we've got lunch, chicken, guacamole, and rice. And what's really nice is that for the meal, you can see a breakdown of everything just in that lunch, foods you've already included, and the breakdowns. And if you like, you can also get the same information for each individual food, including the macro breakdowns. And if you like, add that to favorites to track later on from your favorites list. Now, if you click on each item, you can also change your servings. So let's say I just had a half a portion of guacamole. I can change that. And I can also use my quick tools if I want to save this meal to be tracked later on the same way. Most of us eat the same foods over and over again, so I've saved that as my lunch from February 1st. And then if I want, I can also change the name of that meal by clicking on Manage Saved Meals so I can recognize that meal later on. So we'll click on that meal. We'll go to the meal name section, and we're going to change that to something more recognizable, in this case chicken, guac, and rice lunch, and we'll save that for use later on. Now, when you're in that meal on your food track page, if you change your mind about something, you can also delete any individual item by simply clicking on it and choosing the Remove from Meal function and just confirming that action. Or you might have decided that the entire meal was a bust and you want to delete the whole thing. You can do that with the quick tools as well and just delete everything from lunch in one click and just confirm that. And that'll make that go away. Now, if you've saved meals, then what you'll see is you have the ability on a different date to not have to find those foods individually again. So I'm going to go to a different date with a blank slate, and we'll click on Add Food to add something to lunch. In this case, I'm going to click on that saved meal that I just tracked a little while ago. We'll pretend it was a different day. And I can just click on Track, and that will bring all 3 of the foods from that meal right into my lunch for this new date. So it saves some time, and now I can see I've got the same meal, and it's tracked as it was the first time I searched for it. Now on your nutrition page, you'll see that you've got a breakdown of your calories that you've eaten so far, but maybe you want to set a goal. There's a goal setting here that you can click on the little pencil, and if you enter your weight, your height in inches, and your date of birth, you can calculate a calorie goal based upon the Harris-Benedict formula, which will tell you what you need to maintain your current weight. Or if you like, you can just put in a calorie goal that you know you want to achieve or that's been recommended to you by your provider. And once you save that goal, you'll find that calculates your calories again and shows you how much you have left that you could eat based upon what you've eaten so far, and if any calories that you've used in exercise, in this case 1306 remaining. When you track food in the app, simply click on the food section and you'll see that your calorie goal, calories eaten, and calories remaining are here just as they are in your web portal, including a breakdown of your macronutrients, including protein, carbs, fat, and even net carbs. And you can change your calorie goal here in the app as well. You'll click on the little settings icon in the top right of your app. It looks like a little sprocket. And when you click on that, you can change your calories by simply entering the manual amount of calories that you want to set for the day. We don't calculate calories the same way as we do in the web portal, but you can set them here manually, and then you'll see the adjustment to the remaining calories. Now, all the food shortcuts that you have on the web are here, some even more conveniently. So if you click on Add Food, you'll see that you're in an interface where you can add foods by favorites or by searching. I'm going to click on coffee, and I see that I have that marked as a favorite. And for each of those foods, you have all the breakdowns of the nutrients. And like with the web portal, you can change the serving size that you're eating or drinking, and also the number of servings that you're consuming. So I'll put 2 cups of coffee, click Add Food at the top right, and now that'll add that to my breakfast. And just like in the web portal, you have the opportunity as you go through to use shortcuts like creating a meal from the foods, which will give the meal any name you like. Or if you like, you can use the remove all foods from that meal function, and even use the individual food removal to just take 1 or 2 things out of a meal at a time. So in the search box, you can then choose to add foods from the meal that you've saved earlier. So in this case, we made that chicken guac and rice lunch. I can add that in 1 click from the Meals tab. And then if I want, I can even just take one of those items out by just using the slide function, click delete, and remove just that food from the lunch. And again, it will change all my calories and macros for the day and store those for me. And just like the web portal, our search database includes foods from restaurants, brands, and stores. So you can just search for Whole Foods, for example, and get all their items for anywhere from generic foods at their store to items that are branded from Whole Foods. So I'll just choose a Whole Foods quiche with broccoli, and I can add the whole pie or just a serving of that pie, like a quarter of it, by putting in the decimal point and putting in 0.25. Click OK, click Add Food, and that'll store that as another food tracked for today.